spurred the economy under the NAC administration. And I believe that we have that dividend right now. If we can rally the whole country together and move forward beyond politics, that will really help us. I don't know whether the Baal, you have taken notice that all of a sudden all the posters, the billboards have disappeared. I don't know how they usually do so, because I don't see politicians going back to remove them. But people really have moved on. People have really, decided that it is time to, concentrate on matters that are important to them. And I believe that that is the only way that we are going to fix the economy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right.
Okay. I just wanted to draw attention on also page 3 of the Star this morning, and this also, I know you can weigh in. This is Isaac Maura. You have your Star newspaper there. Yes, Star on page 3. Now, petitioner is a petitioner who wants the court to quash registration of atheists. Dicho has sued the Registrar of Society for allowing the registration of society. It says that a petitioner has gone to court seeking to have the Atheist Society registered. Dr. Stephen Dicho has sued the Registrar of Society for allowing the registration of the atheist in Kenya society. He claims the registration violates the law. And Dicho argues that the registration of atheist society continued operations violates the article preamble of the Constitution, which acknowledges the existence of God, hence Kenya being a religious society. The preamble reads here that we, the people of Kenya, acknowledging the supremacy of the Almighty God of all creation, that is what the petition reads. It is his further contention that the registration of the atheist violates the freedom of conscience, religion, belief, and opinion guaranteed Article 32, subsection 1, 32, subsection 2 of the Constitution. Interesting there, if you may flip over to that particular page 3 of, you can read those articles.
Yes, I think about, from the word go, anybody who doubts the existence of God, for me, I don't agree with them. I mean, that is totally unacceptable, according to me, because God exists. Things don't just happen. Even us, we have to wake up very early in the morning. For us to be here, we didn't just find ourselves because there was a huge bang somewhere in the morning, and we found ourselves seated here. So I don't agree with anyone who thinks that there is no God, because, I mean, human power is finite. And to deny that there is existence of God really is almost to deny whether you exist. And, well, the Constitution gives us the freedom of religion. So atheism is a religion, I don't know. And what kind of religion? Because 32 says every person has the right to freedom of conscience, religion, thought, belief, and opinion. Thought,
and belief.
So I think belief and belief. Yeah. So I think we cannot have them.
Interesting.
We cannot we cannot strike them off. I think. Yeah.
Because that is their thought.
That's their thought.
That is enshrined in the Constitution.
And it's their opinion.
Yes.
Yeah. So that one. So I don't agree with them that the God does not exist. That I totally disagree with them. But the same Constitution gives them the power to exist. Those same atheists.
Because this matter is being canvassed in a court of law.
Yeah.
I think we should allow the court process.
But it's not a sub judice. We are not going to the merits and the demerits of.
Yes.
It is not in the public domain.
It is, but you see, who are we? If we are saying there is they have the freedom of belief and association, who are we to say they are wrong? I think that's why I'm saying let it be canvassed in a court of law. And in fact, for the students of conflict management, there are two major issues that creates conflict. One is the issue of resources, and the other one is the question of belief. And the one that is very hard to decipher or to come to a conclusion is the question of belief. Because belief is something so infinite, you cannot say my belief is more superior compared to yours, because what you believe in is more integral to your own thinking, to your own conscience, and to your internal limit. And therefore, it would actually be a kangaroo court if we were to pass judgment on those particular individuals. But what they should also know is that as they exercise their freedom, they must also not infringe on the freedom of other Kenyans who believe there is God, and many of us do. Just like Maura, I would also believe there is God. I'm just not here by mere stroke of fate. There must have been a process that really was able to create me or create mankind into human nature into what we are. But let's leave that one to a court of law to canvass and give us the verdict. But I thought we were still dealing with the issues of the administration of Kenya Kwanza. And there are three things, Debal, that disturb me. At times you hear people making...
I wanted just to, before you go to that particular what is disturbance, there's a very interesting editorial cartoon as well.
Yes.
Talking about religion and atheist as well. And this is what Ozona has drawn today. And people they have been discussing this. Yesterday I saw also Gado depicting State House with a cross that now it's become, the chambers for worship. And here is what Ozone has today in the Star. And you can see people are speaking in tongues, right? If you can flip over there, you have it there, yeah?
Okay.
Shabba ba ba ba, gu 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 gu, and then you have shagala bagala bagala,
Let me say something.
Yes, please.
The whole thing, as you said, as Honorable Kirwa says, is in court. But it's amazing to me how one article can be used to say one state and support what is exactly opposite. Because to me, it all starts from the freedom of thought, freedom of conscience, and freedom of belief. Now, once you have had that, people can believe what they want. I believe there is God. Fine. So the other people doesn't. So the article they have quoted, I think, let the courts decide. But it can support either way.
Dr. Siasi was once a legislator, isn't it?
I don't know whether it is...
He was a legislator. I don't think
He's the former speaker of Kiambu.
He's a former speaker of Kiambu.
We are not very sure. It could be another Stephen Doby.
No, this could be another Stephen, because the face is not the man I know.
No, the face is actually of the
This is the atheist.
the chair of the Atheist Society.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Disho is not a doctor.
Let me say something in respect to religion as a whole.
Yeah.
You see, I look at the world. First of all, it is physical. The world is physical. Everything you see is physical, even if you go into space. Then we live in it, and we human beings are the ones who, perhaps the only ones, there may be others, who try to understand what it is, and therefore put a lot of things around it. Then the forces that control the physical world is what we, human beings, that is the whole essence of science. That's the whole essence of universities, trying to understand what forces makes things happen in the world. And I think it is so enormous that in my mind, there has to be a superior being that has put all these things together. Somebody goes to study up to PhD level on just one germ or one atom that we use in physics. But remember that the universe is full of all of it. So what has done that structure? So to me, I think there must be a superior being, but let people believe what they want because our constitution says so. The court will decide. But understand it, the concept. And the Genesis puts it very well, if you are a believer. 1, 23, 24, 20, out to 28.
Yes.
That created everything. Man was put there to have dominion over it.
Yeah.
To have dominion over anything, you must understand this. And that's where we are struggling. And first of all, believing in the superior being, while we understand all these forces.
Yeah. So even as we are physical, there's the metaphysical part of it. Yes. All right.
Pastor Mikal. I think that's well put. Yeah. And I think we leave it there, because it is useful that even those who have contrary opinion are also allowed to exercise their freedom of conscience and freedom of thought and freedom of belief. That will assist us as a democratic society to churn out some of the challenges or some of the issues that we may not be in a position to understand as of now. Yep.
I think the interesting thing about God is that he allows you to challenge his very existence. God is very democratic. I mean, I cannot fathom, because if going by what we believe that even these atheists are created by God, but they doubt whether he exists. That is the essence of democracy. So, sometimes when you discuss this topic, you fear on bordering on sacrilege. Indeed. But then let us, as Waziri is saying, as Reverend Dr. Nyikar is saying, then we leave it at that, because, but I don't know, I feel like it will just be struck out at the preliminary level, because it's purely against the Constitution. If at all the judges would want to issue a detailed ruling on this one, it would just to expound the law. But it's very clear from Article 38, and there's a very strong movement at the global level called freedom of religion or belief, which I'm part of actually, which is trying to encourage people to really avoid violent extremism, because some of these contestations are the ones that will create such a thing. But the irony of it all as well, the bar, is a cartoon down there. I don't know whether this page 3 was supposed to be dedicated for matters religion. So now you don't know whether people are praying in tongues or it is some reggae music. I don't know. It looks very funny, but that caricature is
it's very telling.
Okay. No, I think they're trying to. We will pray at State House. We continue to pray.
Yeah, so the question yesterday we had that also doing this that we have Wanjiko. State House got new facelift. If you could see that, we'll just put it there. There you have it. Yeah, and that is Wanjiko's. We know on Sunday was a Thanksgiving Sunday at State House.
Yes. Very important.
And we had 40 clerics who were called to sanctify State House. Yeah, so I think this is where Wanjiko is really, his face looks crestfallen, wondering what's happening at State House right now.
It's just prayers.
It was just prayers.
I mean, when we prayed in 2017 for a win, we never went back to say thank you. So this was a Thanksgiving prayer, and it was very nice.
It was very nice. Yeah. Indeed. Let's hear from Kipruto Rapkirwa. I think I'd interrupted your thoughts. You wanted to say something about the Kenya Kwanza administration. That there are three things which are frustrating you about Kenya Kwanza.
Yeah, three things. It's about our country in general, and it's about the current administration, because those are the people mandated to lead this country for the next 5 years. Now, there's been this issue of complaining about the salary of MPs. My take, without really going into the details, is that we need to do an audit of what it constitutes to be an MP. The Honorable Dr. Nyikalia has a salary because he's the MP for Seme.
Yes.
That salary is not the only cost on us as taxpayers. There is the staff, there are other costs associated with that position of an MP. When I was first elected about 35 years ago, it was only my salary, which was 18,000. I did not have a driver. I got a guy who was my friend, and he decided to be my driver for 20 years, but he was not being paid. It was our own local arrangement, and that is how we survived. I didn't have a bodyguard. Once in a while, I could drive myself in the constituency or even drive to Nairobi. Nowadays, there is so much around an MP. There is the driver, there is the bodyguard, and there are other members of staff that are overlooking the affairs of the constituency and generally around the MP. What we need to do is to do an audit, so that we don't talk about wage bill without breaking into elements.
Could you hold on to that particular thought to take a short break? It's important that since your days, your heyday there as an MP, 35 years ago, things have turned dramatically different. There are a lot of trappings around the MPs. Is it really called for? Should we really audit? So I think that's critical.